Chainsaw! Chainsaw! Yeah, baby, we're back! More content about Chainsaw Man. We're talking about more episodes.
After you go and give us $10 to get our bonus episodes, of which there are at least 5 or 6, and you'll get all of them at once. And also, here's an ad.
Hey kids, want to impress your friends and induce sexual arousal in your neighbors? KHANTEHNT t-shirts!
Wow, I've never been more impressed in my life with anything!
KHANTEHNT now has official t-shirt merchandise, and you can get yourself some by clicking below the video or in the Teespring link in the description. With designs like the classic KHANTEHNT logo.
Or this!
I've got a shirt on too.
Or this. KHANTEHNT! New designs will be coming all the time, so always stay tuned on that Teespring store and look for fresh designs. They're a great way to support the show and share your KHANTEHNT pride. So get out there, wear them, and get into KHANTEHNT. KHANTEHNT! Okay, here we are. We're back. More Chainsaw Man's happening. Coming off the, I don't know, something of a lull. Not to put too much shade on the last arc. I feel like we finally tapped into the true potential of Chainsaw Man at last, and it is glorious.
This shit is fucking crazy, man. This is one of the craziest things. First of all, this is in Shonen Jump. There's a lesbian orgy in
multiple.
a 2-page full-color lesbian orgy happens in the middle of this.
I was reflecting in Shonen Jump. So, shocking.
Come a long way, I guess. Also, it's one of the most violent things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. I was saying that the value of human life, like the stock value, I can feel plummeting as this chapters go on.
I think Chainsaw Man is probably my favorite Devil Man. So, cause
Chainsaw Man, the manga, read it by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Everybody, it's really good.
Yeah, it's getting even more similar to Devilman in that it's setting up this sort of undercurrent plot that Chainsaw Man or Chainsaw Devil rather,
right,
may or may not have murdered every demon in hell recently, and that's why so many of them are on the surface or something.
Yeah,
it's kind of unclear so far, but all the demons who have escaped hell said the last thing they heard was chainsaws whirring. So,
that's right.
And in Devilman, there's sort of a similar kind of undercurrent plot that Amon, who is the devil that becomes Devilman, had been on some massive tear against all the other demons in hell before he came to the surface. And so there's sort of a similarity there. But what makes Devilman fun is that it's super violent and gory and has all these crazy monsters. This manga has the same thing, makes it fun, but it's taken it to such a new and inventive level of not really fixating on how do we make the most gory or the most violent scene, but the most unexpected, shocking, crazy attack scenes where it might be that a lot of people die or that there's a lot of blood, but that's not what makes it interesting. It's that time seemingly froze.
Well, in any fictional story, you can write down the number. Character says 1 gorillion people died. Isn't that sad? Right. That has no impact on people. What has impact is the creative spin that a particular author puts on it. Yeah. Just as one example, I mean, we visit hell during this section, and I thought that the depiction of hell as this vast landscape with just overtly human, normal Monsters Inc.-esque doors as the ceiling of hell or whatever. Okay, obviously when God made the universe 6,000 years ago, obviously doors hadn't been invented yet. Would hell be full of doors? The point is, who cares? It's an artist's interpretation of hell, and that's what's cool, and I like that shit. And there's lots of it here.
They go to hell and they talk about how the primeval fear devils are there.
Yeah.
That they never leave hell, and they also don't die, or they have never died.
There's the bit of lore we get here about, because, somebody killed devils. It seems to be that maybe the reason so many devils are on Earth is because something killed the devils in hell, and when you kill a devil in hell, it goes to Earth, and when you kill it on Earth, it goes to hell, and it seems to flop between these two superpositions. This is my kind of inference from the little that we do know, but something's going on, and it is scary and spooky.
Well, we have, I guess almost I feel the first half of this arc was just a build-up to one action moment.
Yeah.
Because we introduce
It was a Chimera Ant arc-esque setup
It
kind
was
of
it was
thing.
a little bit because you have this huge amount of new characters get introduced. There's like all these agents running around.
In short, to
There's-
sum up this section of episodes, this is just the assassination attempt on Denji arc,
Yeah.
with all these international players showing up, and just the result of them being together creates the madness that we experience.
Well, and it's really it's a clever misdirect because you have all this build-up, all these characters talking about stuff. Like the first half of this arc, you introduce all these new agents. There's all these foreign people running around, assassins getting set up, and it's like a really complex system of jobbing, I would say, where like a lot of these people exist to be killed by other people to prove their power levels, but in like the coolest way imaginable.
But you could argue like all of fiction, or perhaps all of shonen, is just a complex hierarchy of jobbing to other characters.
I guess that's fair. But in this case, it's like all these new assassins are running around, all these people and stuff. And for a while, there's even like a moment where somebody says of a character who shows up, like, who is that guy? Like, when did he show up?
Oh,
and they're like,
yeah, that
oh, there's
part was
agents
great.
all over the place. They're just running around.
And when
protecting
that
you.
guy shows up, it's played for laughs as he's like, huh, you guys haven't met me yet, but and is cut off and moved on by
Right.
another character. Great moment, great
Well,
moment.
and I think that was like symbolically trying to let you know, like, yes, there's a bunch of new people running around, but don't worry about it. You don't really need to know who any of these people are necessarily, like, because you know what happens to any unnamed agents in this manga. They definitely get killed. But in this case, it's like you got all these agents, all these assassins, all building up to this one moment where there's a puppet demon can make anybody they touch turns into a puppet. Anybody those puppets touch turns into other puppets.
Right.
They got a huge puppet army storming this building that Denji's in, and all these fucking people. And you've had the lesbian assassin girl being like propped up for a while
as the strongest one in the world.
but like we haven't seen her do anything. And then like there's a scene where a couple of people like confront her, and she just kind of runs past them. And then there's like pages of her just like ninja running past this huge crowd of puppets and all these people.
I love that the first reaction to that is, she's got an invisibility devil, but no, she's got just super speed, and
really
she's so
fucking
cool
fast,
and
yeah.
badass. Yeah.
So like everybody's like, wow, where'd she go? And then one of the girls is like, oh, dead people are talking. And then everybody between where she started and ends gets cut in half.
Like 100, 200 people all explode.
Yeah, pages of people getting torn to pieces,
And
all the characters that were just introduced in one go, like...
And I love the feedback we get of, because she has like 3 swords. She was holding a sword during this. That sword is like in splinters, and so she throws it and then draws her new swords, because when you cut 100 heads off, your blade takes some damage in the process. It was great.
Yeah, so like... Now we know this character is extremely powerful. The Puppet Master's already established as powerful, and there's like a few twists there where at first it's like presented as an old man and he's being called Santa Claus, but that's just one of the puppets. The old man at one point asks for some children. He's like, I need 3 of them for work and 1 for pleasure.
1 just for fun.
But
We'll
then
let
it
you
turns out
imagine what that could be.
He's not even a real old guy. He's just a puppet by
Well,
the
it
lady,
seems,
I think.
yeah, I'm guessing there's some kind of hive mind thing going on, the way that it plays out in that character X. These are like the 4 factions that we're introduced to, basically, 2 of which, Old Man and Lady, turn out to be the same faction. But we've got 3 American brothers who think that they're immortal because they're so badass. You know, Quan Chi, the Chinese assassin, strongest in the world, and then Puppet Man.
I kind of forgot about the brothers because they were even like a jobbing system as well.
Yeah, they're the comedy bit here.
They basically existed to get killed by the other assassin guy, just to kind of establish him into the story, and then he fights Assassin Girl.
Yeah.
They're like equally matched.
You're talking about Octopus, teenage, like, he would be the normal protagonist of, well, he's like the Sasuke of a normal shonen protag, whatever.
He's got a octopus demon. Just seems like some cool guy. Haven't
just
really
some
learned
cool
anything
guy.
about him. Just a cool assassin guy who's around.
Yep.
And has an octopus and is about as strong as the other assassin. And they're both about, like, they seem like, oh, maybe everybody's like on par. We got Chainsaw Man, Puppet Master, these assassins, all these kooky characters, and then they all go to hell, and most of them just get immediately killed once again to prove power levels once more.
This whole process of gathering all these people for this giant raid to try to get Denji, first of all, I appreciate that this whole arc starts with a logical setup of like okay, why is now the time when all these international people are coming for Denji? It's because like news of Denji during the Sharknado fight. By the way, that chapter was called Sharknado. Awesome. Some people were like, why didn't you mention that in the episode? Well, there you go. It's been mentioned now. It was a peak moment of madness. So as a result of that, his presence is now known worldwide, working for like public security. And people want the Chainsaw Devil. They want Denji as like a subservient devil man who can help them do all kinds of crazy shit. He's a hot commodity. And so now everyone's coming to get him. In
particular, it's like other governments. Like they mentioned that the waifu from the last arc had been a Russian spy.
Yep.
And so the Americans and Chinese they expect to definitely want Chainsaw Man,
which are represented in this very group.
But what Makima thinks they want them for is so that she won't have a hold of him. Not because he's stronger than the Gun Devil or whatever, but particularly because they're afraid of her. So Makima is just who everyone's afraid of in this series.
Everyone is absolutely pants-shitting terrified of Makima consistently, including our characters on our side, who many times, there's Master Guy, has a conversation with Quan Chi. Clearly, these two, well, they says they were buddies, and she's called at one point the first devil hunter. So what exactly does that mean? Who knows? Sounds pretty cool. And during this conversation, the Master, like in writing, because obviously he can't trust audio waves being put out, is writing down, Makima can see, can hear what we're saying. Let's communicate via text or whatever. I will help you kill Makima if that's what you want. Just like let the hostages go or whatever. So more Makima being a dubious, scary person is going on here.
Even particularly to have Master, who has been established as like...
He's a good dude.
The only like trustworthy character, really, kind of like strong and also seemingly good-hearted. So like for him to be against Makima is like, okay, well, this makes her seem even more like evil than we might have.
It's mentioned that that her power, that she uses little. So we saw her like controlling rats or something last arc or whatever, and now we're told that she like overhears using little animals. So I'm trying to infer what her power might be. I've got some theories, but nonetheless, I am fascinated.
Well, some crazy shit happens because everybody goes to hell, and the demon of darkness shows up.
I'm sorry, demon of darkness. I prefer to call him the drip demon.
The drip demon. He was a cool-looking motherfucker.
He sure was.
And he is summoned in a way that immediately removes everyone's arms. It's like this crazy panel of him like standing there and everybody's got their arms lifted off and like that panel was fucking awesome.
Yeah. But let's not rush through the details here because the arrival of the demon of darkness is portended and foreshadowed with all this insane happening. First of all, they just arrived in hell. All the devils are like paralyzed. The humans aren't affected.
There's a part where one of the girls says to Quan Chi, like, can permission to kill myself? Like,
permission to kill myself.
Oh, we're in hell. Yeah. This is not going to go well. It's going to be the worst thing ever. Let's just die now. Like,
see, I wonder if her plan is, she is, oh, by the way, we learned terminology that I finally understand now. Speaking of her, there are fiends, which is what power is. That's like a body possessed by a demon or whatever. There are hybrids. That's what Denji is. And also, Reze. Her name is not Reese, as I said last time. Bomb Girl was Reze, which is a weird name in English, but okay, whatever. And then there's normal devils. Okay, got it. I wonder if her plan, when they, want to kill themselves, is if I kill myself, I'll reincarnate in the human world. So actually, that's a get-out-of-jail-free card. If I just, now that I'm in hell, I'll go back to...
I'm not clear on how the mechanics of dying in hell work.
I don't think it's supposed to be clear yet or ever. In any case, they're terrified. Something's coming. These primordial devil fears that they say have never been killed. So they're clearly so powerful that nothing was able to kill them to like send them to the human world. They've been here the whole time, okay. And then out of a door drips the darkness demon, or the darkness devil. And so yes, the first thing he does is like cut off everyone's arm instantly. Holy shit, what the fuck? But before that, it's just this is where we get into like weird, like abstract, even just the depiction of hell as all these doors over like a field. Incidentally, I think that they make a contract, it said like twice, with the devil of hell, I think is what brought them to hell. Whatever, maybe it doesn't matter. Point being, the like hell is this weird landscape covered in like fingers on the ground. There's like small fingers everywhere. And when the Devil of Darkness shows up, there is this bizarre scene of like astronauts
like
cut in
I
half.
fucking forgot about that. Yeah, that was like the ultimate one-page thread image for this manga.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Absolutely fucking bizarre.
It was at this point he obtained ultimate drip.
There's a part where they say like sacrifice the woman who's summoning the darkness devil says like sacrifice everybody in this building to hell. Right. And then like there's a shot of these 4 kids sitting there, and then like the edge of the page becomes a finger going through the panel to like wipe them off. Crazy.
That was
shit.
another great little curse devil kind of thing. Oh, incidentally, Denji got killed by the curse devil before
that
this.
also
just
happened.
Ripped up, but he's a hybrid, so he lives. So and the darkness devil shows up. Weird astronaut things happen, and there's like a frog croaking, and perhaps as a consequence of this, I feel like these are like metaphorical representations of what the characters are meant to be experiencing. Like, what more epitomizes darkness than like being an astronaut in the darkness of space and then getting axe murdered on the moon? I don't know. That's one way to interpret it, I guess.
It was some trippy shit. I mean, like, even before that, stuff was getting trippy all through this, where like, there's this undercurrent throughout Chainsaw Man of obviously the author is into movies in a big way, especially art movies, as established by that whole arc of them going to see art movies and talking about it. But like, as this arc goes along, like even when it's introducing all those new characters and stuff, in retrospect, this is really clever. It was a little confusing at first that like a lot of the new characters that are introduced are not introduced in a way where it's like, here's their personality or here's what they're about. It's just like they're just doing stuff. Like,
which is the best way to characterize.
In the plot, right. Well, and then a lot of them die really quickly. So it's like, okay, well, we didn't need to know anything about them other than what they were setting up for. But like, it is pretty much like 4 or 5 kind of dense chapters with lots of dialogue, lots of new stuff going on, where you're kind of like, is this all like building to some big thing? And then it just happens.
Yeah,
that big thing happens. All those people get killed. Everybody goes to hell. Everything gets restarted. And like by the end of the arc, you're like, oh, well, I guess all of that is cut and open and shut. You know, like all those new characters are dead.
It's funny, almost like the last arc. This is kind of the same like open and shut case. This is one raid of like the international assassination of Denji arc, and it is closed at the end of it. Basically, the loose ends that we'll get into get tied up. But holy shit, was there more going on in these than the last section? And it wasn't bad. You know, looking back on it, I feel more favorable about the last arc because I think my expectations, that was the arc to kind of relax and explore what romance could be like in the world of Chainsaw Man. But this is the arc where shit gets crazy, and what would an assassination attempt from everywhere in the world look like?
Every arc shit gets completely fucking crazy.
Yeah,
this is just where it got to a level of crazy that like, where like the nature of the manga is like being affected by it.
Yeah, it's what I've wanted all along. But I mean, you were talking about like the characterizing of the characters. That was done in a great way, so I just want to revisit those a little bit. So the first of these like assassin groups is the 3 brothers from the United States. There's like literally, they're outside the Statue of Liberty, so yes, New York City, understood. And they're just talking about we're invincible. We'll never die. We're the strongest people because, like, they say the gun devil killed, like, all our friends and family, but we survived because we're invincible. And they go on to, the first thing we see them do is kill several of the devil hunters we actually had met previously in the story, including their, like, superior Subaru, who I remember being mentioned several times and was really excited to be like, oh, that guy's got to have some sick powers. No, he's bullet fodder for these random American chads to come in and lay down the American way, so that they can steal their skins, so that they can blend into the crowd as them, and, you know, presumably execute them and win the day, because they're Americans, they get the job done. But that plan, they use the skin devil, apparently, to transform into people. That plan is foiled by the appearance of what, I don't know if you're aware of this, Digi, one of the most popular characters, voted officially in Shonen Jump, Kobeni's car. Kobeni's car. By last check, Kobeni's car, Kobeni being the scared yandere kind of girl, is the 7th most popular character in Chainsaw Man at the time of the series completion in Shonen Jump.
I completely forgot, but yes, what happens is Power like gets mad at a table in like a restaurant and leaves, and they're like, don't worry about her. And then like I don't remember why she was driving. Why
She sees that Kobeni has a car. She's like, hey, you bought a car with your meager salary? That's nice. It's like a Beetle or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive this car. And she's like, I have a license. Don't worry about it. As Kobeni is worrying about it.
Right.
Meanwhile, in front of them, a bunch of characters, we're meeting like our surviving friend of the raid, who's actually one of the shape-shifting skin demon Americans, stealing the skin of one of their old friends. They're just discussing like, hey, Denji, gonna be a pleasure to work with you. They shake hands with Denji. This might have spelled doom for Denji, but at that very moment, out of nowhere, power behind the wheel just accelerated and drove the car through both of them, killing both of them instantly, including Denji. Luckily, he's an immortal, so it worked out all right.
But the other guy's just dead.
The other guy's just dead, but the reaction shot of Power and Kobeni, and we have to walk through Power's play-by-play reaction to this, which is first, Power, behind the wheel of the car, is freaking out, going, and then her face calms. She turns to Kobeni and says, this is your car, so it is your fault. This is not my responsibility.
She gets out and is like, I wasn't driving. Like
Right. So but then the guy she just killed reverts back to his original form as a spy, to which Power says, I knew it all along. It was all my plan. I am a genius with a 10,000 IQ. Power's childishness, her flipping between whatever's the most convenient position to be in, is a delight to the senses.
It's the most fun thing ever.
It's
She's the
so
most fucking
great.
fun character. There's not a lot of characters that like when I see like people draw fan art on Twitter and stuff, I get excited. But I've been seeing a lot of Power and Denji fan art. And it's always just like, this is fucking great.
Those two are adorable
I can watch
together.
these two all fucking day.
They're cute. They're cute.
Yeah. So the one guy just gets murdered by Power,
Yep.
apropos of nothing. Luckily, turns out to be a good.
That was so convenient. This is shitty writing for the story, man. Come on now. That's not cool.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
Well, and then right after that, like, the other two American kids are so shook by having seen their friend just get killed that they're like, because they're all like supposed to be pros, and they had this whole moment of like murdering, like, we first see them like. No, we see someone else like murder an animal, and someone asks like.
That's another pair of people, yeah.
But with those three, they
just
kill
talk
people.
about like, would you be able to kill a man? And the youngest one seems to be like, he's like puking at the thought of it, so he's not ready for it like his brothers.
And the other two are like, yeah, fuck yeah. But then once they watch a guy die, they're both are like, I don't know, man. Like we're supposed to be pros, but I don't know.
The younger one pukes and is clearly he's the one not able to handle this. The other one is just pissed with like the Mugen Fro from Shampoo a little bit. He just like is like, I'm gonna go get revenge right now. Meanwhile, is immediately killed by Octopus high schooler bro, Hunter Man. And Octopus Man sees little bro on the ground, knows that he's a hunter. He just knows, but he's like, I'm not gonna waste my time killing this guy. He's pathetic. And that guy's little redemption arc was another fantastic little plot thread, as that guy, in the disguise of one of the dead devil hunters that he killed, goes to that guy's friend's, childhood friend's home, hangs out with that guy, and the other friend is like, hey man, like to this guy pretending to be his friend who he murdered, man, you should quit the business, bro. You should like open up a used clothing store with me. We'll live our lives as best we can. Go see your mom, she misses you. Like your girlfriend wants to hang out with you, bro. Let's just do this. But his response to this is to remember his life with his brothers and be like, he recites like their mantra, we're immortal, we'll never die, have no fear, get the job done. Yeah. And he like resolves to go back on the job after both his brothers died. That was just a great little emotional, like, he's not a good person, but I respect the commitment to the job, and it's fucking manly as hell, and it was fucking awesome. That character is really cool. And he, you know, during the raid, while all, like, the puppet devil's doing shit, what's this guy got? He's got a gun. He has one gun with one bullet, and he gets slapped around a little bit, but he does survive to the end, so.
We'll see what's gonna happen with
We'll
that.
revisit him in a little bit. I mean, aside from them, I just want to touch on Quan Chi and her 4 devil girls.
Yes.
Are
Halloween!
Another delight. Halloween!
Halloween!
Now, okay, let's get back to Halloween, because that was something special. But
That's fucking awesome. I almost forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't. I'll never forget about Halloween. But
in fact, it's all I can remember anymore. Halloween!
That's right. That's right. Quan Chi seems to have just like 4 miscellaneous devil girls hanging out with her, and her backstory is while fucking all of them at the same time, like a Chinese agent comes in and says like, hey, you're a contractor, go kill these guys. what do you want if you win? And she says, after like fucking all of them.
All four of the first girl's response is, I want 100 donuts.
Yeah, right.
The second one's just like, yay.
I want Halloween.
Third one says Halloween,
Yeah.
and the fourth one doesn't say anything. And
Yeah.
and so her response is, give them all education and basic human rights.
That sounds funny, but I mean, she's really trying. It's like that thing in the last arc with Rez trying to give Denji like a general idea of what he should want out of life. She wants just a bare minimum. So Quan Chi is like a good person too, you know, and so I respect her, and she's cool and strong and all this good stuff. She was really badass. So I mean, that's her arc here, and then of course there's Germany's Santa Claus, and her introduction, we don't know it's her. It's an obvious misdirect at first, but ultimately we realize that she is training a young student guy she's like getting him to respect her and kill humans and get him to be like a seasoned devil hunter, because this is all part of what it takes to make like an advanced puppet, which is like a Horcrux from fucking Harry Potter kind of shit, like splitting your consciousness and having like more bodies, which the old man seems to be as well. But like with her in particular, it's just her willingness to commit human sacrifice is the interesting element for her. And also this other idea, she has a contract with the Curse Devil like Aki did. Aki has like a year left of life maybe. Santa Claus here has like 6 months left. But I wonder if that's only the one body. And by being a puppet devil person who can split herself everywhere, if she'll like live forever using devil powers, and that'll help her survive.
She will, but all she can say is Halloween anymore, so it's not very helpful.
Okay, well, let's get back to Halloween after we just touch on what happens once they're all in hell. So Puppet Devil drags them all down into hell, and it's basically just a free-for-all as after the Darkness Devil shows up and cuts everybody's arms off, they just try to survive and not get murdered by like the most powerful creature in the universe. Because obviously, you know, devils are stronger based on fears. The fear of darkness is a primeval, original kind of fear. I guess perhaps akin to something like violence or fear of God.
Although violence was not a primeval fear.
Well, no.
I think the Violence Devil got killed, right?
The Violence Devil definitely got killed, but in a manly way. He takes off the mask trying to kill it, gets like blown up, but then like sticks an extra arm out his mouth in like this cool way, and so he's trying to do some good stuff. Oh, we saw him earlier on just being nice with Kobeni, just like buying her ice cream, hanging out together. Right. So that was a little sweet
cute scene
between those two.
I'm really happy that Kobeni has continued to survive despite not really contributing much, just kind of being terrified and being around.
Kobeni, her contribution will be revisited at the end of this battle. So everybody there tries to do their thing to survive. You know, Violence Devil attacks. Quan Chi and her girls like try to attack. Everybody gets chopped to pieces.
Shark Devil's dead.
Shark Devil, my bro. He's dead too. Rest in peace, Beam. And notably, Aki and the Angel like don't do anything. Aki, actually, right before they went to hell, Aki with his future devil abilities clearly saw what was about to happen and is like, what is about to happen? And we got to live that, and that was fun. Anyway, Aki just survives, I guess. He's okay. Lost his arms. I didn't look to see if the arms came back at the end. I'm curious if maybe we'll get prosthetics or.
I do remember there being a moment where it seemed like he was spared almost. Like a bunch of other people get killed at once, and he is visibly not dead.
A bunch of blood comes out of his mouth, but he's alive. It seems like Angel too. Anyway, that's fine. And Denji doesn't attack. Whatever. Everybody's getting fucked up. Denji gets killed, but you know he'll survive. But what saves them is that Spider Devil girl was with them. And actually, you know, this was funny. I was just noticing, Spider Devil Girl, Pris, or whatever her name is, she has a zipper down the front of her face that is useful here. I noticed, including in a panel right before she unzips it, that zipper is just forgotten to be drawn in many panels. So Fujimoto, work on that, buddy. Anyway, like communicating with Makima, she just like unzips herself somehow, summons Makima, who is actually able to put up a pretty decent fight against the Darkness Devil. So when we're talking about power level scaling here, Makima is clearly
I was unclear
off
if
the charts.
Did she kill the Darkness Devil? Did she beat him? Or
unlikely,
well, I guess he fuses with the, or like he gives a part of his power to the
puppet girl, yeah.
So I guess she didn't kill him.
He's definitely alive. Makima did seem to hurt him at least a little bit. Whatever. Point being, he kills a bunch of people, the Darkness Devil, including Makima. But Makima. See, now this was interesting. How did they get out of hell? I was wondering after it happened. Makima did something what looked like to like the young man who'd been turned into the puppet of the puppet devil, and it seemed like he sacrificed himself to let everybody else leave. Makima seemed to do that to him somehow. That's interesting. I wonder what that's about. Could there be some sort of brain control?
I literally feel like I have to reread this entire, like after it's done, I'm gonna have to read it again to fully understand what the fuck was going on.
That is why I read it twice. The manga was so nice, I read it twice because I had to absorb all these fucking details. First of all, I love doing it, but yeah, there was a lot going on here. So they're back in the real world, and now it's just, okay, they're away from the Darkness Devil, but Puppet Girl Santa Claus has been powered up with the power of darkness, wants to kill Makima, and so Makima needs Denji to save her, you know, give him some blood, and off he goes. So now we get like the big final fight going on between Denji and Puppet Lady Santa Claus. And Denji does some impressive moves. Actually, before we get into that, so Quan Chi had also got her head cut off, but interestingly, one of her girls seemed to be alive, pulls off her eye patch, reaches into her head, pulls out what looks like an arrow, and she comes back to life, clearly implying that she is like a hybrid like Denji seems to be. And I noticed she's the first, they say she's the first devil hunter. I bet she's the hunter devil, if I had to guess.
That would make a lot of sense.
You know, I don't know. That's pretty scary.
She's got like a head made of like arrows,
like a bow and arrows and stuff.
She just like fires spikes at people.
Very strong.
Yeah, but more importantly, there's Halloween!
Yeah, okay, so the point is, they defeat the devil. Well, Denji defeats the devil by lighting himself on, covering himself in gasoline, lighting himself on fire, and like to fight darkness powers back.
But Denji's logic is the best.
It was the best.
Well, and it makes sense because the way that the devils work is that like they're all very basic concepts. How powerful they are is based on how people feel about them.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So if it's like even though the plot is complicated, the idea of the devils is meant to be as straightforward as possible. And Denji, being as straightforward as that is able to like just say, oh, you're a darkness devil? Light. And how do I get light? Just fire, you know?
Just to remind him, you know, I thought there might be a thing where like a chainsaw's powered by gasoline. It'll be his like specific power up. Doesn't seem to be how it worked.
He was just thinking, throw as much light at this devil as possible. So he just starts throwing explosions at it.
And it worked, because like the thing is, it becomes night, like, you know, the sun sets, it's nighttime, and the darkness devil is really, really strong at night, as you might imagine. So use light to fight it back, and it was just a logical way to go.
He instills fear in it with the light as well, by
That's
fighting back and making the darkness repelled. And the darkness devil's like, oh shit, I'm afraid.
And for the record, he is burning to death. He is not like, this isn't something he can handle normally. He is in massive amounts of pain. Imagine yourself on fire. That's what Denji's experiencing, but he's just doing what's got to be done in order to beat the darkness devil. So that was great. But also, during this fight, while fighting with like Artemis Lady or Quan Chi or whatever, a hunter girl, they finally get to that moment. They get to that moment that you have to get to in most shonen of this scale or scope or whatever, where it's like the puppet devil is controlling people who normally don't talk much, but the puppet devil makes them speak or has them say things like, "Oh my God, I'm being controlled. Please, God, somebody help me." And Quan Chi says to Denji, "Denji, don't worry about it. They're dead. He's just faking it. Don't worry about it." Denji reasonably asks, "Are you sure about that?" John Cena style. And Quan Chi says, "Listen, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know that that's true.
Right.
I'm just gonna tell you to believe that that's true, because if you don't believe it, you're gonna lose and die. So, with wise words, says, become the idiot, Chainsaw Man. Become the idiot."
Ignorance is bliss.
That's her literal motto in life.
Yeah.
And it served him well, because he, not only did he cut the shit out of a lot of those people and kill them probably, who maybe could have been saved theoretically, also he learns to drink the blood of innocence. Basically, a lot of this fight is him like getting hurt really, really bad, taking one of these puppets, cracking off their head, drinking the blood in order to recover himself. So it sure is lucky he got over his, unwillingness to hurt.
Every time I think about another thing that happened, I'm like, how could there be another thing that happened that we haven't talked about yet? There's so much happens in this fucking manga.
It was
so
insane.
dense.
So many ideas were all packed into these chapters. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Remember the times we had, the times that you and me had. Remember the times we had, the times that you and me had. Remember the times we had.
Okay, but finally, the battle is won. Denji overcomes Darkness Devil Lady, but now we've got a final problem. A puppet lady has clones or controlled puppets all over the world, and she's like, I'm gonna be coming for you every day, Denji. You kill this body, that doesn't matter. I'm just gonna get more and more powerful. You'll never be able to stop me. I'm literally international. I'm Mr. Worldwide. So what are you gonna do about that? Well, this is where my favorite character in Chainsaw Man, Cosmo, comes into the fray. Quan Chi says, give her a taste of Halloween.
A real Halloween.
A real Halloween. Up to this point, we have seen one of the girls, hasn't done much. She's just has like her brain and her eye hanging out. Some kind of zombie girl. Something's going on with that. She only says Halloween. What's that about? Well, so in some kind of psychological attack where she does a Kamehameha Halloween, Puppeteer is pulled into the mind of Cosmo, which is her name apparently.
Cosmos Devil.
The Cosmos Devil. The Cosmos Devil depicted in that body. Strange. Where what happens is they sit down and cordially have a nice conversation about, oh, I'm not going to just say Halloween. I'm going to speak to you normally. Yeah, I'm an educated devil. I know lots of things. And here's the thing. I've just hit you with my attack. All knowledge of the entire cosmos is going to be inserted into your brain. So you are just going to be mind-fucked all over the universe. And there's talk of like, affecting one of my minds won't affect everybody. Well, all knowledge everywhere is enough, in fact, to fuck with any mind, no matter how diverse or spread out. And the thing is, when you know all the information of the cosmos, the only thing that comes to your mind is Halloween. Is Halloween. And you know, something in there, something about this character really reminds me of something.
If I could change the world, I'd make us have world peace and also Halloween every single day. On Halloween, you can pretend to be someone else. It's like the internet, only in person and with candy.
So this is how Cosmo heroically saves the day, because there would have been no other real way to deal with this like worldwide threat. Tragically, Cosmo gets murdered like moments later by Makima, that bitch. Yeah. Now I don't like Makima anymore for killing the best character, Cosmo, in all of Chainsaw Man.
Quan Chi.
Fuck Quan Chi, she'll be fine. She'll come back. I just want to touch on how great a character Cosmo was one last time.
It's incredible.
It was like the best thing I've read in a decade.
She's like, I'm going to insert all knowledge into your brain. It's just like this ever-widening shots of this library expanse. And like, the way that it's presented when you just see like this 2-page spread of all these books, a body like falling, and then like text on the side of the page like, all you can say is Halloween.
That was such a genius, such a genius framing. This might be my favorite moment in the entire manga. So, in fact, I think it definitely is. It was next level gold shit.
Especially because like, this would be an awesome attack to do to anybody. But specifically, it's so great on this puppet master because now all of the puppets around the world can't say anything but Halloween. So there's like a TV report of all these people just Halloween, Halloween. They're like, oh, mysteriously.
All the puppets across the world.
Tons of people are just saying Halloween now. Like,
so how many puppets did you have?
Idea.
By the way, incidentally, this is where we I think touch on the final note of the surviving member of the America Brothers. Like, a lot of puppets are going, Halloween, Halloween. I think what's implied here, because we see that guy, the surviving Skin Devil brother, also going, Halloween, Halloween. I think he's pretending to be a zombie, but he's actually okay, but he's also doing the Halloween chant. By the way, as I was reading this a second time, I noticed that at least one moment, there's a time when Cosmo, who knows like what she's up to, she was deliberately like not shown what her power was for the big reveal at the end in chapter 70. Like, she just bumps into like a guy's car, or a guy like looks out his car, and she's like, hey, you stupid girl, get out of the road. And she looks at him, and he just starts going, Halloween, 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 Halloween.
That's
so she might rape
she
that guy too.
Yeah. It's like she says Halloween, and then he's like, Halloween, Halloween. Yeah, fuck, she did.
You know,
I guess she's pretty flippant about it.
she is pretty flippant. You know, I guess now's a good time just to say, I just want to draw a point of comparison. I'll also do this in the Jujutsu Kaisen episode when we get to it, but I just want to point out the difference. For the record, this power that Cosmo used is the literally exact same power that, what's his name? Like the Kakashi guy, Sato, whatever his name, with the infinity white hair power. She has the exact same power as that guy. It's all about the way you execute. This is
be executed
comedy,
better.
it's action. I like the character was, not, like, unlike him, it wasn't hyped up. She was, in fact, opposite of hype, anti-hype, to then be like the funniest thing ever. So I'm not trying to shit on Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm just making another point.
I am.
Okay, whatever. I'm just making another point about how Chainsaw Man specifically has amazing execution. That's some of the funniest shit and the most hilarious shit and the most sick action I've seen in so long. This manga is so fucking sick and everyone should read it. Unless you don't like big lesbian orgies, I guess.
Or insane violence.
Or
maybe,
insane violence.
Yeah, this manga, if it can stick the landing, will be an all-time classic in my mind.
Yeah.
One of the best Devilman manga that has ever existed.
Top of the charts, no doubt in that category. God, I'm just, do I have anything else I want to say? I guess,
No, we've been going for 40 minutes.
Okay,
Let's
that's
wrap
enough.
it up.
Makima, please don't kill more nice characters. Makima seems to me at this point to be like possible true villain.
That I mean,
you know?
that seems like the setup. She's
Yeah.
kind of got Griffith energy going on.
She really does. Everyone's scared of her, and she's really powerful. So we'll see. But I mean, hopefully, Gun Devil next time. When do we get to the fucking Gun Devil? This was another side story. When the fuck are we getting back to that?
I'm gonna bet right at the start of the next chapter, just like I did last time.
You know what? And just to touch on that, there was a line at the beginning somewhere here where Makima says to Aki, like, "Hey, next year we're doing a raid on the Gun Devil. Like maybe there'll be like a little time skip. Maybe they'll rush that soon. But like plans are in motion. It's gonna happen soon. So
We
let's
only
go
got
to
one
it."
section left.
No, I think we're gonna split it up into two because there's
really?
just too many. It would have been like 30 chapters otherwise. So we'll try to find a way to split it up. 2 more sections, and I think we'll be done. But stay tuned, people, for more fucking fantastic Chainsaw Man. We're loving it, and you should
And more
too.
KHANTENT by subscribing, going to the bonus episodes on our Subscribe Star for $10, and send in a clip of you saying KHANTENT, and we'll play it right here, just like this one.